Hi everyone, it's Tayyip Shah. Today I'm going to continue sharing research ideas for you if you want to be conduct some research in the area in GI using GIS and geospatial research methods. So this today the talk is focused on regional disparities in education, and the data comes from a publicly available survey data, which is a multiple indicator cluster survey. So the objective of this research was to investigate the usefulness of multi-indicator cluster survey program at a local and regional level by performing a geospatial comparison of two consecutive surveys conducted in 2007, 8, and 2014. The investigation is conducted in the form of a case study based on the literacy and education variables and is targeted to understand the status of educational indicators at an operational planning and implementation unit. So, for example, this is a district level case study. I just want to be clarify about the mix. Mix is a household survey developed by UNICEF and especially to fill the gap uh, of the data sets required for monitoring the human development indicators. And there are some countries which they cannot regularly monitor. So this tool developed by the UNICEF is very helpful to collect the data, and usually they rerun the survey in every 3 years. So in this method, in this research, uh, we use the mixed data, and I will talk about a little bit about the study area, and which we choose for the Punjab, Pakistan, and the survey was conducted, as earlier mentioned, in the two different time frames, and data was collected by with the help of Bureau of Statistics, which is very reliable data, and which can be used to see the change over the time. So data was the survey data contained a broad range of literacy and educational variables, mainly to track indicator sets for the Millennium Development Goals and later to measure the Sustainable Development Goals. So in this case, it's not only the survey, like mix is containing all other, like most of the social sector data sets. So literacy and education is one of the component of that data set, so which I'm using. So in other words, if somebody is planning to do the research using mixed data, so they have a number of areas they can work, and they have a number of indicators they can pick from them to make those some research ideas out of it. So the as Ali mentioned, this research was focused on Punjab, Pakistan, which is administratively divided into 9 divisions. So you can see the very dark boundary on the map, and which is further divided into 36 districts, and each and every district's label and name can be seen on the map. And if in terms of the population size, so smaller size of the district is 1.16 million, that is the Hafsabad district, and the maximum population is 11.13 million in the district, Lahore district. So you can see the variation of the population size across these 36 districts, and in terms of the end of the districts itself is a form of a smallest administrative units that are used to collect socioeconomic data and implement government policy. So the district level unit of analysis is important in a different way. So this mixed data is released at the district level estimates, and we can compare the data across different surveys. So I just wanna going into the detail of this research. I want to share some information about this survey. So which used so if you want to be interested to download the survey of any country, which is they are running this mix tool. So you can go to the website mix.unicef.org, and the surveys, and then you can search the country, and then you can figure out. So this is the way you can see the different provincial level surveys are available, and also you can see the key findings and reports. So we use survey finding full report in this study, which is already providing the district level estimates. And then if you are interested in the raw data, so you can also access the raw data of the survey. So if you are a statistician and you want to build some statistical model, so you can get the data in SPSS format as well. So it means if any mixed survey conducted in certain regions, so if you are looking for the data, and here is the website you can go. So in the study we use these two reports. They have a provincial level, and then the divisional level, and finally the district level estimates of all the indicators. So it makes us easy to compare two time frame at the district level to see the variations. As for the indicators, that's a full range of indicators you can see under the literacy and education sector. This is a Millennium Development Goals, so 2.3. They are aligned with this goal, and this is the way you can read those indicators. So we select some indicators from this list, and then compare over the period of 2 years to see the pattern of the data and the in other words, the improvement over the period, over the time. So this is a list of the variables I was talking about. So we picked, in other words, like literacy rate, overall literacy rate, which is normally measured at 10 plus, population, and then we have a second indicator is of young population, literacy rate for the young population, age 15 to 24 years. And we took the data for total and as well as for the female population. And in terms of the school-going children, the indicator we picked is the primary school net attendance ratio, which is aligned with the Millennium Development Goal 2.1. So that is the one which we use for school-going children in terms of the gender parity index for the primary school. And also we get some information about private school attendance rate for the primary level students. So these are the indicators which we gather from the 2 years of data to surveys. So we use the geospatial techniques to examine and map the variation inequalities in five literacy and educational related variables, and from 2 different years. And in the change in these variables over the period of 6 years was recorded and mapped using manually defined classification schemes. So before going into the maps, I want to give you the overview of this data sets and the indicators. So in this case, you can see the first variable, we have a total and the female population, and we have data in a percent. And the C stands for the change over the 2 years time frame, which we're talking about the data set we have. So in other words, overall Punjab is 60.8% is the literacy rate of 10 plus population, and which is 1.5% increase from the last survey, which was done in 2007 and 8. So in 2014, literacy rate was 60.8, and the same in the female. So female was 52.1, which is 2.6% increase over the 6-year period. The same thing, you can see the change in all those indicators. We can also see the variation across the 3 urban rural classification, major cities, other urban areas, and rural areas. So you can see the literacy rate decrease as we move towards the rural area. And similar patterns can be seen in all other indicators. In terms of the wealth quintiles, so there are 5 classes. And if you see the highest quintile and then moving towards the lower quintile, and there will be the literacy rate is decreasing, which shows the poor population has a less interest or access to the education or educational services. And the similar kind of things which can be seen in the literacy rate of young population, and in terms of the net enrollment, which is you can see the participation in net enrollment also decrease as we move towards the lower quintiles. So this is a data set which is overall at the provincial levels, and now we are seeing the district level distribution. And there is a set of two maps. First one on the right side, which shows population, female population data, and on the left side is the total population information on the left side of the map. So this map is for the literacy rate, and you can see on the change in the total population, literacy change in the literacy rate based on the total population, and where the change is negative, it means literacy rate is dropped in 6 years, and the green means where the literacy rate is increased over the period over the 6 year period. So now you can see those northern districts, which is along the GT road, they have a higher literacy rate. However, in the last 6 years of this study, you can see there the decrease in the literacy rate is a pattern on along the Lahore to Multan corridor. You can see they have a improvement. You can see the change is more positive, and those kind of pattern can be seen. However, the literacy rate is not great as compared to the northern part of the province. And the similar kind of patterns can be seen in terms of the female literacy rate. And on the northern side, you can see that either there's no significant improvement or there is a decrease in the literacy rate. But in the middle part of the central Punjab and from Lahore to Multan corridor, it looks like there are very promising results where the female literacy rate is it's positive. The change is like those changes can be seen as a good sign in that region. So the next is a young population pattern. So the overall color scheme is same throughout these maps. So now we can easily see the change in the young population is negative change can be seen on the north and around the capital area of the province, and the central and the southern Punjab has a sign of a positive literacy rate, and similarly you can see in terms of the young woman literacy rate is also reflected this way. Okay, so net attendance rate, interestingly, which is giving us a opposite story, where you can see the northern Punjab, the change in the net attendance rate is improved, which is a very good sign. However, the literacy rate was decline, but there is a sign, and the new population, young population, is more entering into the education system, which can change or reverse that pattern after a certain time. And this is a similar kind of story you can see in terms of the girls' attendance rate, net attendance rate, which is also improving in the northern part. And but in the southern Punjab, in both cases, either is overall or particularly the girls, they look like their trend is negative. So it's not a good situation. Overall literacy rate uh, was not good. However, there is a improvement over a 6 year period, but this is an alarming situation when you see the net attendance rate is dropping. So it means in the coming years, it will affect the literacy rate in that region as well. So gender parity index and students attending primary private schools. These are the two different maps. On the left side of the map is the gender parity, which is showing the boys and girls, how the much boys going in compared to the girls attending the school, which is kind of overall positive trend. There is an increase in that, and it shows there are going to be gap is narrowed down in both in those cases. But in case of private schooling, so and the change over the private schooling, so you can see the change in students attending private schools are decline in the large urban areas. However, their percentage is already very high. For example, in case of Lahore, which is 71% of the primary school children are attending private schools. There, however, in the last 6 years, the decline is, you can say, is somehow between 0 to 5 percent decreased, but this number is already very high. And the similar kind of things, you can see the two corner district, which is the Narwhal, and I believe there's a Sialkot. So which is number is 56.7, 38.2. They are have a decline, which is a good, but they're comparatively high number as well. There are some cases where you can see the increase in the students attending private schools at the primary levels, which is kind of like very strange in those districts where they have. However, they have a small proportion, like 26.6% they are going, but this number is increased over the 6 year. So it shows like people are moving away from the public schools, which is not a good sign. So in overall, we can say Mix is a useful tool for monitoring quantile and carried out regularly to ensure the successful implementation of policies. And the data analyzed in the study shows a steady growth at provincial level in all indicators used in this study, especially indicators pertaining to female students showed better improvement than male students, and in particular girls from rural areas and smaller cities in all categories have outperformed boys. This trend has further improved GPI, indicating almost equal educational opportunities for boys and girls. But the concern is the, the enrollment in the private school, and this can be related with a lack of publicly funded education facilities, especially in rural areas where significant enrollment in private schools has been observed. So this is the overall results. You can see how we use the two survey data sets over a period of 6 year gap. And now if somebody wants to repeat this study, they can take the same data and get to the new surveys, and then try to see the trend over the time, and whether this there is any improvement, or whether they have any negative trends based on the latest data sets. And besides the education, there are a number of indicators as mentioned, like you have a child labor, we have a health related, we have a vaccination coverage, we have like identity card related, how much birth registration and national ID cards. There's so many things out there in data sets which needs to be explored and which can be analyzed in a different way. If you are a statistician or you have a good knowledge of statistics, so there are a good chance, if you want to be run a statistical model using a raw data sets, they're providing you for these kind of things. So then you can run a comparison between the two countries. So if you want to see the study, the similar kind of things, you want to compare for example, in Nigeria and in Bangladesh, high population countries, and you want to see the improvement in two different areas in a similar set of indicators. So there are a lot of ideas out there. If you guys are doing undergrad or master's level work, if you are interested to find some data sets, which is very difficult for the researcher to find a data set to run the study. So I would suggest multi-indicator cluster survey is a very reliable data set which you can use for your research and whether you are doing any geospatial research or you want to be doing any social sector related indicators and health related indicators, all the information is out there for you to explore that. So I hope you like this video. If you have any question, please let me know. Thank you.